Cordy, and as a teenager I was in a band called Raucous Pigeon, and we were a Christian rock rap band. And we got the tape, the evidence is irrefutable, and I'm working on a way to actually show you these. I've got to find a VHS player and some way of getting them onto a computer or a screen, but I'm not even joking, I'm actually going to try and do that. Eddie Van Halen sadly passed away yesterday, I believe, which is obviously not good. I thought it would be an opportunity to talk quickly about kind of guitar heroes and the importance of them. And I've been asked to talk a little bit about my background, and so I thought I'd sort of tie those two things in together a little bit, because there's some overlap there. So I guess all of us probably will have one or two players that we really connect with in a big way, and certainly early on that's probably the case for most people. Might be one or two bands or guitarists that made them want to pick up a guitar. For a lot of people that would be someone like Jimi Hendrix. A lot of people that might be someone like Kurt Cobain, and I think for a lot of people that would be someone like Eddie Van Halen. For me personally, since I was asked about this, it's Gary Moore essentially, or Thin Lizzy. Although I picked up guitar before that, I never really wanted to play lead guitar, as I'm not particularly outgoing, and I thought it was kind of showing off and stuff. And then my dad sat me down and played me Thin Lizzy, Still in Love with You on a vinyl of Live and Dangerous, which I later found out is the solo that Gary Moore used to play in the studio, and apparently Phil asked everyone else subsequent to play that solo on that song. Sean told me that, so thank you for that, Sean. So that was my very early kind of inspiration, and I learnt to play bass from the Live and Dangerous album and listened to lots of Gary Moore and stuff, and from there I think I next kind of picked up Iron Maiden, and that was a lot of my listening and learning for a while there, and I think I got tab books for Iron Maiden and stuff like that, which I probably still have lying around somewhere. And then from Iron Maiden I heard about things like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani. I've definitely got a Joe Satriani book somewhere. Okay, but it's not there, obviously. So those were kind of some of my guitar heroes in the early, and I know that for sure for Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, Eddie Van Halen was a thing in their lives. And then I went on to Dream Theater from there, and I know that John Petrucci used to speak about his two Steves and two Allens, one of which was Alan Holdsworth, and I think Alan Holdsworth was a big inspiration for Eddie Van Halen. So kind of you can think about how these things are all kind of interlinked in a way. Eric Johnson was then one of my next kind of favourite discoveries for me, you know, and still to this day I think is definitely one of my favourite players alongside Alan Holdsworth. His inspiration went something like Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, I think, and you know, so everyone has these touchstones of things that they really kind of continue to like, or, you know, if you listen to John Petrucci early on, I think you can hear a lot of Yngwie Malmsteen in there. And I think what essentially this inspiration stuff does is gives you a way to kind of tread the footsteps that someone else has already trodden. So, you know, John Petrucci, there's quite a lot of educational material that he's put out there, but some of the other guitarists there's not so much, but you can kind of hear in their playing, and if you listen to what they say their influences are, you can kind of trace the way that they've practiced and stuff and hear that thing. Later on in my playing, I think I discovered jazz through someone like Pat Metheny or EST, Esbjorn Svensson Trio, sort of around the 16-year-old age, 16, 17. And something that I've noticed kind of looking back on things is that most of my favourite guitar players, there's some element of jazz in their playing, and you can tell that at some stage they've come into contact with jazz. So what I mean by this is Eric Johnson, you can hear playing jazz stuff occasionally. He's done albums with Mike Stern and stuff. Andy Timmons, although not a huge influence on me, I really like his playing now. You can clearly hear him playing standard sometimes, and, you know, clearly some of that jazz is going to jump into his playing. John Petrucci for sure, studied some jazz stuff at Berkeley. Who else have we got? Alan Holdsworth, obviously jazz. Robin Ford, Larry Carlton, players like this. It's not that they're necessarily straight ahead jazz players, but they've clearly spent a time learning the jazz stuff, and that shapes their playing and stuff. All of that is to say, I think it's cool to kind of do that hero worship thing, and I don't think there's any harm in it. In the jazz world, I think it's fashionable to say that you don't really listen to other guitarists too much. I hear a lot of big players saying that kind of thing, you know, or I transcribe horn players or I transcribe piano players. For me, that's cool and stuff, but I think it's okay to admit that there's guitar players out there that you really dug early on and still do even, and it's, I think, fine to break apart their playing and do that hero worship thing. Even still now, I get a lot of enjoyment out of breaking down some Alan Holdsworth stuff, even if I can't play it, or Eric Johnson or Robin Ford, and I think it's okay to enjoy guitar playing, hopefully. So yeah, shame to lose another one. So that's Gary Moore gone, that's Alan Holdsworth gone, that's Eddie Van Halen gone, and obviously there's a lot of time has passed since some of the jazz greats from the 50s were around. But I think the coolest thing about music, and the thing that is nice about this, is that it kind of endures anyway. So the fact that Alan's gone, I think he left all of his best pieces behind with us anyway. So the man is gone, but we've still got his music, and I guess that's maybe why we create music, not only to enjoy it in the moment, but at some stage someone might come back and listen to that and get that same enjoyment that you maybe put into the tune, hopefully. Anyway, so that's a lot of rambling, innit? I'm going to go and get a coffee. Thank you for watching. If you like the sort of stuff that I'm doing on the channel, I had a plan to do something with these VHSs, but I need to get some technology in place. But yeah, that's some talk about influences and stuff, and kind of my favourite guitar players, and yeah, thank you for watching.